I like how that slap right there. You got me feeling real Horseshoes Jones, man. Yeah. It's so great lacing here. Midwest finesse now, let's be clear. Northern exposure, new frontier. Good rhymes, good times, and yes, it's good beer. We be spitting BPs in here. Giannis and Yelich had some good years. No time faking it, we about making it. That glass ceiling stuff, yo, I'm all about breaking it. From a small town that I got big dreams. Chamber diet up now, get more greens. Where the good fiber, the flow on cyber. Vamos los flamingos flock tighter. All we do is give that good try. Close a hidden playlist on Spotify. Do da do just like Shy. It's that 9-9 simple work so fly.
What is up, Rose Guard and Rallyheads? It's I, Rob Chappell, with another special edition of the 608 Soccer Show Rallycast. It's just me today. I promised not to drone on too long. I will be joined in a little bit by Taylor Gordon, Rally Madison's leading scorer, with 6 goals in the bag, which is more than I thought, as you will hear. But really fun conversation with her. I asked her, we talked last week about how she doesn't celebrate goals. I asked her about that. It's a very, very fun conversation. So stay tuned for that. Sarah will be back next week. It's been a very, very, very busy week for both of us. She is still in the midst of tryouts and putting together rosters for Region Soccer Club, all the various age groups of teams they have there. So that's been very busy. I've been busy with the Office of the Independent Police Monitor in Madison. Dropped a report on us, kind of surprised us with a report on Monday. So that's taken up a lot of time this week. A lot of other stuff going on. But I did want to touch base because there have been 3 matches since we last spoke. And they were very, very good. And I want to just at least touch on them and get you up to speed on those matches, and then to kind of get you ready for the last 3 matches of the season, which are all home matches, and could really be pivotal in terms of just generating some momentum for this club, for this team, going into season number 2. So before we get into all that, one note of news to mention, that Edgewood High School graduate Sonoma Beaver, who is on this rally team, hasn't seen a lot of time this summer, but has started a couple matches and has played pretty well. But she, after graduating from Edgewood, went on to Wake Forest for her freshman season and has now transferred to the University of Wisconsin. So you'll be seeing her a lot more in Madison. Back home, which is great. Good news for the Badgers. So these past 3 matches since we've spoken are all wins for Rally Madison, and they have won these 3 matches by a combined score of 8-1, which is pretty impressive considering how the season started. Now, the last match we talked about on the podcast was the home match against River Light, which was a loss. It ended up being 4-2, but as we talked about on the podcast last time, you could see things coming together, right? You could see the cohesion coming together. You could see the midfield start to click. You could see the strikers in the attacking third getting a bit more clinical, working together, really connecting, working well in transition. The connectivity was starting to improve. That was definitely the turning point that it felt like at the time, because we've seen it really come together these last 3 games. I think one thing you can say is that this team has learned to play really direct, and they figured that out. And the other thing, a couple of things I've noticed about the league broadly, and that just kind of popped out to me in these last few games, is that first of all, it's a little bit like watching the World Cup, in that you have a collection of very, very talented individual players who don't play together very much, or haven't played together for very long as a unit. So, as a manager, you benefit by simplifying the tactics a little bit, right? And you're patient, and you're persistent, and you wait till it clicks. And when it clicks, it's beautiful, right? When it comes together, which it has done for Rally Madison this last week and a half or so. The other thing I notice is that teams in this league, at least just from my observation, live and die by defensive discipline, defensive organization. And you see a team like Minnesota Aurora, which has literally not conceded a goal this season. Their goal differential is plus 29. They've scored 29. They've conceded 0. Largely because they're just that good, and their midfield is so stacked that nobody else can even have the ball, much less try to score. But also, their defending has been very, very disciplined, and Madison ran into that twice, right? So when a team's defensive shape starts to erode and they start to lose discipline, which sometimes can happen when you have these teams that don't play together that much, you start to see gaps and you start to see spaces you can exploit, which then as a midfield connected to attacking players, you have to, when you see those gaps, you got to be able to exploit them, which means you have to be decisive. You have to move quickly. You have to make strong runs, strong passes without hesitation, and you have to be clinical, and you have to be a little bit ruthless. And that, I think, is one of the several switches that have been flipped with this Raleigh Madison team. You'll see some of these highlights. You can see them looking really clinical, really aggressive, and really direct. When they see the spaces, they hit the spaces, and they're creating chances and finishing goals, which is great to see. So I'm just going to kind of run through these matches. I'm not going to get too bogged down in them because, again, Sarah's smarter about these things than I am. She can tell you more about what's really happening. Also, you don't want to hear me drone on that long, but I do want to highlight a few moments, particularly goals. Looking at the Rochester match, which was on June 12th, which was last Friday, June 12th, at home, as a 3-0 win. The first goal was created early in the match by a great bit of skill at the back by Kat Arnold. Rochester was a bit stretched at that point, so there was a big gap between the strikers and the back line, which offered the opportunity for Kat to advance the ball quickly with one long ball that was basically uncontested. Right? She didn't have to put it up high. She didn't have to get it over anybody or through anybody. It was just a big gap that she was able to exploit, and she got the ball up to Delaney Cox. Now, Delaney Cox was right up against the back line, so she did have a defender on her back, and she had to make a nice turn. But for some reason, the defender just dropped off and let her make that turn, and then let her find Taylor Gordon out on the wing. Really good vision from Delaney Cox to see Taylor out on the wing. Taylor still had a lot of work to do. She was basically in behind, but still had a lot of work to do to get into the box. Nobody thought she was going to shoot from the right channel the way she did. Just for now, made a really good, strong run into the box, drew a couple of defenders, at least got the attention of a couple of defenders. And Taylor was able to get it over under her left foot and just unleash a gorgeous curler to the near post, and the goalkeeper didn't move. Like, had no inclination that Taylor was going to try to shoot from there. So she surprised everybody, including the commentators who were surprised that she took a shot and scored there. But terrific goal for Taylor to open the scoring, and that was the first time this team had ever actually been in the lead in any game this season. So you're already feeling good. And then we talk a lot on the show about momentum, especially in the last 10 minutes of the half. Kat Arnold got her goal right on the stroke in stoppage time of the first half, which had to be a gut punch to Rochester. Especially the way it came. It came out of nothing. It was a throw in, headed away by a defender. It fell into some empty space. Kat picked it up and took the touch and looked up and decided, you know what? I'm just going to take it because nobody stepped to her. She didn't have there wasn't a lot of off-ball movement. Everybody was just kind of waiting to get to halftime, I think. And she just had a hit. from 30 yards away. It wasn't like one of those like laces through it, frozen rope rocket kind of goals. But it wasn't really a chip either. But it was definitely like inside of the foot, looped it up over the keeper, basically right at the keeper, and looped it up and got it down under the post. Brilliant goal, and what a momentum surge at that moment to go into halftime up 2-0 when you haven't won a game yet in the season. I mean, just an incredible moment. And then Taylor Gordon got the third. Deep in the second half, Abby Stanton did some really good hold-up play to get it across the center stripe. And then Lenny Cox did make a run on the left wing. That would have been a nice through ball, but Abby Stanton held on to it. And Taylor Gordon, okay, I know I'm about to compare Taylor Gordon to Lionel Messi. Okay, don't make too much of it. But, you know how Messi does that thing where he just kind of walks around and finds spaces and like, he's just kind of so nonchalant that people forget that he's there. And he kind of like hides in plain sight a lot of times. She kind of did that on this goal. Taylor did. Taylor Gordon. Well, Abby's holding the ball up, kind of dribbling toward the center of the park. Taylor wasn't walking like Messi does. She was jogging. Okay, so there's that. But she did kind of jog into a spot in this little pocket of space between four defenders who did not know that she was there. She was right there among four defenders. She was in basically the goal side of all of them. And they were all watching the ball. And she and Abby kind of both understood that. And that's what I'm talking about. The defense gets a little bit disorganized just for a second. That's all it takes. And if you recognize that and go now decisively, you can find joy in behind. And that's exactly what Abby and Taylor did. Abby Stanton recognized that Taylor was there and that the defenders were not paying attention to her. Gordon started her run. Abby found her through, and she was in. And she held her run to stay on side. Stanton slid it through. She had Trinity Wittenbach there with her for company in case she wanted to lay it off. If the goalkeeper got aggressive and came out, she could just roll it across. The goalkeeper didn't really come out. And I will also say the Rochester defenders just let her go. I think if this is a 0-0 match in the 80th minute, maybe those defenders are a little bit more aggressive. But at this point, they're like, we're already losing by 2. What's one more? But it was, she just took her time, tons of composure, so much composure. And just like literally rolled the ball over one time, looked up, curled it around, and it was a beautiful finish to a beautiful match. And, first win under your belt and you're feeling good, then this was a wild several days because it was Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, like only a day of rest in between these matches. So on Tuesday they go to Rockford and they go behind right away. Not like right away, but relatively early in the match. Gracie LePage for Rockford. Maybe a little defensive lapse for Madison. It was a nicely timed long ball over the top, but whoever was marking her, and I couldn't tell who it was marking her, did kind of let her go. Didn't quite keep up, and Malia came out. Malia Zillman, the goalkeeper, came out. Maybe would have done better to stay on her line at that moment, but saw that this Gracie LePage was in, decided to come out and try to challenge it, and LePage was able to just chip it over her. So a couple of decisions in defending and goalkeeping that you could question, but also really nice long ball to get LePage in behind and a really nice composed finish. But, and this is the first game where Madison actually came from behind to win. Taylor Gordon, who else, gets the equalizer. It's basically, this is in the second half now. It was a throw in, worked all the way across from left to right, and the switch went so quick. They got all the way to the left wing in about 3 seconds. And that stretched the back line and got them out of shape. Like they were chasing. The Rockford defenders were chasing, a little bit discombobulated, just for a second or two. And Madison was able to get decisive and exploit that lack of shape, lack of cohesion. Whoever had the ball at that point did get it into Megan Murray. Her first touch, she almost lost it. Kind of got away from her a little bit, but she was really quick to and aggressively won it back, made a really nice turn. And Taylor Gordon and Delaney Cox, both on the far post in the right channel, had found some space. Defenders were all watching the ball, and Murray just laid it across, and Gordon just tapped it in. Very, very nicely worked team goal. And again, it's the decisiveness. It's everybody was clinical. Everybody made passes with authority and just knew what they wanted to do and did it together. And they were able to anticipate. And you'll hear Taylor talk about this a little bit, that they're learning to anticipate each other as they come together as a team. Now, this one, the finish of this game was amazing because neither team wanted to settle for a draw. Right? Sometimes you'll get to the 80th minute of a 1-1 match that's been pretty evenly contested. There's been chances on both ends. There's been good goalkeeping on both ends. There's been, and it's easy to get to the 80th minute and be like, let's just call it a draw. Like, let's just both get out of here with a point. And the game can kind of slog down for the last 10 minutes. These teams both wanted 3 points badly, and you could tell it was end to end from the 80th minute on, and it was really fun. There's some really good goalkeeping in that sequence, but toward the end of the 89th minute, right, as it turned to the last minute of regular time, Rockford was trying to build out of the back. They were kind of playing it back and lateral, and they were getting ready to switch it, and their defender didn't even do a bad job, just like paused for 1 second to look up and make a decision. And the ball didn't even get away from her, really. Zoe Heavey just like said, I'll just take that, please. and just went up and just got aggressive. And without committing a foul, just plucked the ball right out of her feet. And she just wasn't ready for that. The defender was not ready for that. And Zoe Heavey was able to just carry it in. Ran right at another defender, curled it around the defender and the goalkeeper, and got the winner for Madison. And then they locked it down for stoppage time and came out of Rockford with 3 points. And then they took those 3 points to Chicago to play Edgewater Castle on Tuesday, the 16th. The two of these goals were long ball goals, which are fun because they happen so fast and so suddenly. The Megan Murray had a brace here. Her first goal early in the match, it's built all the way back from the goalkeeper, but it wasn't a long build-up. It took about 5 seconds. It went from goalkeeper Lily Berg, got the start in this one. She just kind of rolled it up to Delaney Cox. She taps it over to Kat Arnold. She carries for a second. And as you watch the video here, just the way Kat Arnold puts her arm up and points and directs traffic and lets Megan go that way. And you can't see it on the video, but what Kat Arnold could see was that the Edgewater backline had pushed very high, and they had only 2 center backs who were really high, and there was a gap between them. And because Kat Arnold now knows Megan Murray well, knows Megan's speed, and decides I can put a ball between those 2 defenders, and if Megan can get to it, she'll be in. And that's exactly what happened. So Kat gave her the little signal to make a diagonal run to the right, put a long ball through. Not again because there were gaps in the midfield. She didn't have to loft it. She was able to keep it pretty close to the ground, which makes it much more easy to control. And it just scooted right through, and Megan got onto it, took a touch, and And it looked like the first touch had actually gotten away from her, but she has a lot of pace, and she was able to catch up to it and poke it in. It did remind me a little bit of Ryan Carmichael's goal against Boise, if you remember that, where it was a long ball. He basically split the two center backs with a long ball over the top. Megan Murray was not required to do the whole like Karate Kid crane kick thing that Ryan Carmichael did. It was much a little bit easier for Megan's finish, but because the goalkeeper didn't come out, the goalkeeper stayed in, so she didn't have to chip it. So she just basically ushered it into the low corner on the near post, which is great. And then her second goal in the second half, Malia Zillman came on at halftime to replace Lilleberg in the goal, and technically not a goalkeeper assist, but we're going to call it a goalkeeper assist because that's basically what it was. And Malia has been obviously a tremendous shot stopper this season. She's made some incredible saves, but her command of the box and her distribution have been really remarkable, especially for such a young player. She has a great deal of composure in the box and a really intelligent and great vision in terms of distributing the ball. And so it started from a pretty legit chance for Edgewater. Zillman had to kind of get aggressive. I don't think it was counted as a save because I don't think it was a shot, but she did have to come out and contest for a ball with a striker. She had to get aggressive. She had to snatch it out of the air. And then she started directing traffic, telling everybody to go forward, and then just launches this punt that makes it almost and it did bounce, but it did find its way almost to the box, and the Edgewater defenders did not handle it well. One of them misplayed with a foot, then the other tried to head it and ended up basically flicking it on into the box. And again, you got to be decisive, you got to be clinical, and you got to be a little ruthless. And that's exactly what Megan Murray was. She was there, she chased it down, and she chipped it, and it's 2-0 to Madison. And then finally, at the end of the match, we get a free kick from the right channel, from the right wing rather, and puts it on a dime into the right channel. And Taylor Gordon, who else, just kind of took a step to get away from her marker, and didn't jump very high. Didn't have to jump very high, but did give it a nice little whip of the head. Nobody's expecting a header from 10 yards away, right? And we saw Derek Ephart do that for Fort Madison, where that's not a place where you expect to see a headed goal necessarily. But that's exactly what Taylor Gordon did. And the goalkeeper was, because she wasn't expecting anybody to do that, she wasn't really guarding that near post, and ended up kind of having to scramble to try to make a save and just couldn't. So another great finish for Taylor Gordon. And I couldn't be happier for this team. They are just looking really dangerous right now, and really exciting to watch. And I hope you get a chance to see. They've got 3 games left. We go again against Rockford, which we beat 2-1. Tonight, if you're listening to this on Friday, I'll be there with my kids, so come say hi. And then Wednesday the 24th, against Racine Kenosha, RKC Third Coast, which we lost 1-0 to them in a game we really should have won. Like that was a game that we really dominated and just couldn't finish. Couldn't really even get into the attacking third, but we did dominate every other statistical category in that match, and ended up conceding kind of a cheap one in the 75th minute. That's a game that, given the form that the team is in now, I would expect to win that. I will not be at that one. It is the Mount Horeb P-Flag Pride Parade. And I have been told by my youngest child that we're all going to that. Because we support my youngest child and everybody else in the community. So, and then, but I will watch that back. We'll talk about it, and then we wrap up the season against Edgewater Castle, the team we just beat 3-0. on Friday the 26th, and I will definitely be there for that one. I'm very excited. All right, so that's basically the recap of those last 3 wins. I love just reveling in those and talking about them. So I hope you're able to watch those and come out to these last 3. I'm gonna take a short pause. We'll be right back with Taylor Gordon. And joining us now on the 608 Soccer Show Rallycast, Taylor Gordon. How you doing, Taylor?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to talk to you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're like the leading scorer on the team right now, aren't you?
Yeah, as of right now, yeah.
Yeah. How many? You have 4?
I have
Is that
6 right now.
You have 6? What did I mean? Oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
so many I lost count. So we want to
Yeah.
get to know you a little bit. Tell us, you play for Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, I play for Wisconsin.
Go Badgers. So tell us a little bit about where you come from and sort of your soccer story.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm originally from Wisconsin. I live in Eagle. I started playing soccer when I was 3, and I played with my 2 older brothers, just like just started playing around.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was like 7, I joined a club team, and it was called SC Waukesha, is now known as SC Wave. So I did join SC Wave, and Jules was my first coach, Giuliano. So, yeah, so I've had him for quite a while.
So when you were like 7, was he like, I'm going to put you on a team in Madison one day?
Right, like, no, for sure. But it's actually kind of funny because when I was younger, I actually played defense. Like, I played, like, honestly, wherever he needed me. So, yeah, but now I'm a forward, so, yeah.
When did that transition take place?
Like, I would say probably, like, when I was 12. It was just that they needed a left forward, and that's where I was. So
we'll take it, whatever works,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how old were you when you kind of realized, like, oh, actually, I'm pretty good at this. I kind of want to do this for a long time.
Yeah, so for a while, I was between soccer and basketball. I did do some AAU basketball, so I did travel for basketball as well as soccer. And so I kind of decided, like, later, but, like, I always knew, like, I wanted to do soccer, but I still played basketball all the way up until my junior year of high school. So until, like, I decided,
I think it's
like,
good though.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Well, tell me more about that, because I hear, you hear studies and whatever that that multi-sport athletes are actually better off, sort of emotionally, physically, less prone to injury, maybe, and maybe ultimately more successful in this whichever sport they ultimately choose.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does, because I felt like when I was doing basketball, because I had done soccer for basketball, like, I was good at dribbling, I was good at defense, and I was okay at shooting. I wouldn't say I was the best at shooting, but so they would always put me in on defense because I had fast feet, so I could defend anyone. So that definitely helped, as well as the endurance from soccer for basketball. And then
nice,
even going the other way for basketball to soccer, it would be like hand-eye coordination definitely helped, like if I'm tracking a ball coming at me, if I'm going to go in for a header and stuff. So, like, that definitely also helps.
So, like, spatial awareness kind of translates. But
Mm-hmm.
also, is there do you think you're maybe less prone to burnout?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, because then I get a little bit of basketball, a little bit of soccer. I get to dabble in both.
Right. No, that's great. So then, talking about the college recruiting process, when did you commit to Wisconsin?
So I committed I don't even remember, my junior year, but it was in December. It was December 1st is all I remember. Yeah. Whatever year it was. Yeah, right. I think it was like 2021 or something. But yeah, so basically for the recruiting process, I did all, like, the big shebang. I did emailing coaches that I was interested in. I went to camps. I, like, went to I was in the GA league at that time, so I went to GA showcases, GA playoffs, and so I'd be seen there. And then, yeah, I basically decided on Wisconsin because it was close to home, and I was just I love the atmosphere, and I was super excited to stay close because then my grandparents can come and watch me play,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
I have a lot of support. So
That's pretty cool. Are they coming to the rally games now?
They are. They came to the last home game. It was their first home game, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing! I love all the little kids running around in the atmosphere," and they're super excited.
You have fans, right? Like
yeah.
Not just grandma and grandpa, but like, like just regular people who pay money to come see you.
Right.
That's great. I do love that. And it's partly because it's like college players and a little bit younger maybe than the pros, but also you all have Wisconsin ties, so like everybody has a cheering section.
Right. Yeah.
There, it seems
everyone's
like every
got their
time,
little section. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time somebody gets subbed on, there's like 12 people in the back going,
right.
Woo!
Right. Yeah. And like,
which is so fun.
And a couple of the girls, like a good portion, are like SC Wave girls. So we at one point, like we've all like played together, or we know of each other. So we kind of like we have that in common as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I know this team came together kind of in a hurry,
right.
And soccer's a small world, right? So you have, like you say, you knew some of the other Wave girls. I'm sure you played against some of the girls that aren't Wave girls, right? So you kind of know each other, but now you really know each other. Like that's a different thing when you're going 90 minutes on the field together. What was that process like? And I have to say, it seems like it's clicking now more than it was in the beginning. So like, talk to me about that evolution of
I would
cohering
say,
as a team.
Yeah. So like Kayla Budish, she like is a year older than me, but I would always practice and play with her. And then like same with Zoe as well. We were all in the same club. They were a year older than me, but we'd always practice together. And so we've kind of known each other for a while, but it was more like getting the younger SC Wave girls that we didn't know as much, and then like kind of like meshing that way. And then even like Megan Murray, she played at FC United, so my team always played against her. So like I kind of knew her, but like playing against her. So now as we're like working together and like figuring all that out, figuring out how she plays, how like she makes her runs and stuff, and then it's just like working on the timing. So I feel like that's all been getting a lot better.
Yeah. What is there anything specific that has clicked? I mean, the last home game, I can't remember who it was against, it was a back and forth, and you ended up losing in the end, and then you've won 3 since then.
Yeah.
But that last home game, it is just as a lay observer, it seemed like it was really clicking. Is there anything specific that has kind of turned the corner with this team in success?
Yeah, I feel like lately our midfield has been doing really well winning 50-50 balls. So I think that's a big change that we've been having. And then it is, in addition to that, like people have been anticipating like where the ball is going to go, anticipating like where our players making a run. And then so like adding that, just like kind of knowing what our player is going to do is definitely helping. And so, and then obviously
it's all. Yeah, and you think it's kind of all down to that, right?
Yeah, it's just, and then like even like if someone loses it, and like someone's like right there and they're double teaming and we're winning the ball back right away now. Like we're understanding each other more. Yeah,
that's so key. Is this now you're gonna be a senior, right?
Yeah, I'll be a senior.
And majoring in engineering, is that true?
I'm actually majoring in biology pre-med now.
You changed?
Yeah, I changed.
Okay. All right. So med school?
Yeah. So maybe? I want to I mean, obviously, I want to go pro for soccer, but also like maybe later down the line, I want to do anesthesiologist assistant. So it's it's a 2-year program after college. So
that's cool. Yeah, that's great. So talk to me about the pro aspirations. What are the do you got any irons in the fire there in terms of are you talking to agents yet? Can you even do that?
Yes and no. It's more for like NLI money and stuff right now for agents.
Sure.
But I also still have another year because I have a 5th year as well because I tore my ACL my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
So I do have.
You got time to figure it out.
Yeah, I got time.
But looking ahead, like the professional landscape in the United States is evolving.
Yeah, they're expanding.
Super League, Super League, NWSL. Now, then there are whispers of 2nd and 3rd division. So hopefully, there's more opportunity. Are you kind of keeping your eye on that? Are you looking at Europe? Are you looking at You talking to Lily about Iceland?
Right. Yeah. No, I've been keeping an eye on that because they're doing so many more expansion teams. And then like I would still be open to playing in Europe. I think that'd be a great experience. I mean, I haven't been out of the country, so it'd be fun.
Let's go. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Right.
Now, and do you think this Rally Madison experience is helping you prepare for that?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely great to play with like different players from like different teams. I get that experience of like, as you see, like connecting with with different players and seeing how we can progress over time. So I feel like that's definitely gonna be helpful if I do go overseas. Then I can help like this is helping me adapt faster almost, so that I can like mesh with other people over there.
Right, when it's not the same team you've been with for years, and you have to adapt quickly into a new system and do a new group of players.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Now, one thing we've noted on the podcast watching Rally is that you're not a big celebrator of goals.
Yeah, I have been told that before, and I will take recommendations if you do want to give me any. But I do enjoy running back with my team and celebrating with them, because it is our goal and it is giving us the win. So I do enjoy doing that. But like maybe like a team celebration would be kind of cool, getting everyone involved.
There's who was it? I think DR Congo did a great like full team dance when they scored, which was awesome. So maybe I don't know if you watched the World Cup like at all. But yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, that's cool because I mean, you do see that you score, you cheer around.
Yeah, I'm always like, so locked in after. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's keep going.
That's what I was wondering. It was like, okay, did that. Let's do another one.
Right.
Or is it like, yep, act like you've been there before?
Yeah, no.
Kind of thing.
No, I feel like I'm just so locked in. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go do it. Let's do it again.
I think that's very admirable. I think it's kind of a cool place to be mentally and emotionally, just to be locked in enough to score it and then stay locked in like that for a minute and not let the emotions until I suppose. But once you're mobbed by teammates, I suppose it has to break down a little bit.
Right. I mean, even like I feel like the next 5 minutes after you score a goal is also super important because
that's a good point.
Like, it's like I feel like you're more like, I don't know, vulnerable almost to like get scored on because you're checked out more, and so I feel like that's super important.
It is possible to get a little complacent.
Yeah.
After giving up a goal or after scoring. Yeah. That's really. I love that. One particular goal that I remember that I wanted to ask you about is in that last home game. My co-host Sarah called it a coach's dream. It was somebody, I can't remember who, took a shot from some distance and you scored a rebound with your head because you were crashing, right? You were chasing the shot, and you did that a few more times when the goalie did. Is that something you just like?
There was one that like she caught like down by her stomach that I thought she was gonna catch at her head. I was like, I probably could have just like jumped over her. I was like, are you kidding?
Probably could like poked your head right in there.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
Is that something Jules instilled in you when you were 7? Is that like just instinct that I'm always gonna go?
Yeah, always be on like the watch for the goals. I would say like growing up with Jules, we were always like a pressing team, so I always had that in mind. Like if the ball's like almost you always assume the worst too. If like someone takes a shot, they're gonna miss. I'm gonna be there to clean it up. I don't know. Like I keep going. Like even if I know the goalie's gonna get it, or if it looks like they're gonna hit it, they could drop it. They could mess up. Like everyone's human, so that's why I just go every time almost. So
and it's like nothing happens 100 times, and then the one time
and then the one time
you're there and you score it and you get a goal.
Right. Yeah. So
which is great. Now you've got 3 games left? Is that right?
Yes.
3 or 4?
3 home games.
3 home. Oh, no, 3 goals and they're all home.
Yeah.
So if you run the table now, you end up at the season 500, right? So after that rough start, how cool would that be? And can you get that done?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, I'm going for all the wins, the last 3 home wins. So you just keep going. Yeah, I'm excited. So.
You kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but how cool is it to be playing at Breese Stevens Field, this historic venue with thousands of fans there screaming for you?
Super fun. I've actually played at Breese before, I did ODP, and so every once in a while they'd have like a training there and stuff. And so I've played at Breeze before. I've gone to a few of the Ford Madison games before Rally was a thing, and I just remember their atmosphere being amazing, and it was like, wow, they're gonna have a women's team. Like, yeah, I want to be on that.
yes, please,
yeah.
All right. Oh, fantastic, Taylor Gordon. What's your what's on your sort of game day playlist? What do you get listeners to get hyped up?
My playlist is very interesting because it's not the typical playlist, I will say.
This is why I asked the tough questions.
No, for
right?
sure. I listen, it's not a specific like artist or anything. I listen to like calm, peaceful music, and just to get in the right headspace. I feel like it just calms like my head down. So I'm not like thinking about anything else, and I'm just like, I'm present. I'm just there.
You know, the what you said about the lack of goal celebration, that just being locked in, that doesn't surprise me at all. That you're like calm. We're gonna be rested. Our heart rate's never gonna go over 60.
No, really, no, for sure.
We're just gonna be zen and locked in.
Literally zen.
All right, Taylor Gordon, thank you so much for the time. Really nice talking to you, and best of luck these last 3 games.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye now.
Okay, bye.
And we're not going to go around the league today because as I mentioned, I've been very busy. I just have not had time to go through all the other matches. But I'm going to run down the table. Not that it matters, because only the number 1 team of each division goes to the playoffs. And literally, I guess it's technically possible for River Light to catch Minnesota, but it's not. Minnesota is so dominant. Minnesota is in first with 27 points from 9 matches and a goal differential of 29. River Light's in second place with 18. So they're 9 points behind. With 3 games to go, they, technically speaking, Minnesota could lose 3 games and River Light could win 3 games and catch up to Minnesota. If that happens, River Light would have to win their games by a combined score of with a goal differential of plus 20 in these next 3 matches. So that's not going to happen, folks. So Minnesota's going to run away with this division as they always do. However, from just a pride perspective, Raleigh was in last time I talked to you, Raleigh was in wooden spoon position with 0 points. And now all of a sudden they're in 5th out of 8. And with a real chance to end up in 3rd. They could finish the season in 3rd place in the division after losing their first 6 matches. Of course, now that I say that, they're going to lose the rest of their matches, because that's what happens every time I say something like that. I jinx the team. But let's just pretend that's not the case, and let's pretend that Raleigh Madison is going to win these last 3 games because they're in such good form, and they're going to end the season with 18 points. Potentially ahead of Edgewater, maybe ahead of Sioux Falls. Probably won't catch River Light, but I think in your inaugural season, a 3rd place finish in a division that includes Minnesota Aurora, that would be pretty damn respectable, if you ask me. So just to run through it real quick: Minnesota on top, River Light's in second with 18, as I mentioned. Sioux Falls in third with 16. Edgewater, the team we just beat soundly, is in fourth with 13 points. Raleigh, Madison, Rockford both have 9. Our goal differential is -7. Theirs is -5. So just running up the score in these last few games has actually bumped us up a spot in the table. And then Rochester with 6 and Racine with 5 round out the table. All right, in stoppage time, want to mention another incredible Wisconsin women's sports story. The Professional Women's Hockey League had its draft the other night, earlier this week. And in the top 11 picks in the first round. There's 12 picks in each round, and the top 11 included 5 Wisconsin Badgers, which is incredible. Almost half of the first round of the Professional Women's Hockey League draft were Wisconsin Badgers. The first overall pick, to no one's surprise, was Carolyn Harvey, defenseman at the University of Wisconsin. She's going to the Vancouver Golden Eyes. The fourth overall pick was Layla Edwards, going to San Jose. And then the fifth overall pick was Lacey Eden, going to Las Vegas. I should say San Jose and Las Vegas are new teams. So your first round picks in a new team are going to become the face of your team. So Layla Edwards is headed out to San Jose, and she will be like the face of that club. Then the number 8 overall pick to Toronto Scepters is Kirsten Sims. And finally, Vivian Jungles is going to Ottawa Charge. What a program the University of Wisconsin has built in women's hockey. You win the NCAA championship, you win an Olympic gold medal, and the professionals notice you, I guess. But that also means that we're losing 5 of the world's best players from the Wisconsin Badgers. So I have every confidence, however, that the next one's up will do just fine in this coming season. All right, that's your Rallycast for this week. We will have another 608 soccer show focused on Forward Madison next week, probably Wednesday. We have 2 games to talk about. We'll have the 1-1 draw with Fort Wayne. Lots of officiating decisions to talk about in that one. One big officiating decision to talk about in that one. And kind of a dud of a match otherwise. And then whatever happens Saturday night against New York Cosmos, which we hope will be better. And we'll break all that down on the next Forward Madison episode. And then we'll have another Rallycast episode also, hopefully midweek, so that you can be ready for the last couple of home games. All right. Up the roses. Is that good? Can I say that? Can I say up the roses? Up the Athenas? We still haven't found a good noun for Rally Madison, so if you have any ideas, please let me know. But for now, I'm going to say, have a great weekend, and up the roses. The 608 Soccer Show is part of the 365 Media Network, hosted by Rob Chappell and Ethan Maurice, produced by Rob Chappell, with a theme song by Rob Dees. Follow the show on Instagram and Blue Sky at 608 Soccer. And remember to subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app.